Hey, if you clicked on this video, then you seen the title and you seen the thumbnail. Why get married if you don't believe in God? In this video, I'm going to be exploring that whole topic and the concept of why we get married in the first place. And in 2022, what would be the point or the benefit of getting married if you don't even believe in the concept of God? Look, we all know that marriage used to be a symbol of love and a union between a man and a woman, a cornerstone at the very foundation of the construct of the family in the world that we know today. What once represented stability and values is now similar to America, a mere shadow of its former potential and what it was originally designed to be. But in 2022, where most marriages get discarded and canceled quicker than most Netflix series, it leads me to ask the question, why even get married in the first place? All right, if you haven't done it by now, I need you to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss when I'm dropping content like this. All right, now the reason I asked this question is because in 2022, we got a lot of people who get married just because they like the idea of marriage. They like the concept that comes behind marriage. They like all the formalities of going through the ceremony and having a reception and a celebration of marriage. But nobody really stands on the foundation of what a marriage really is supposed to be. Like, take this for example. The original design of what a marriage is, as described in the Bible in Genesis 2:24, is a union between a man and a woman. That is what it is by design and by definition of God himself. Now, when you look at the original family construct, why is it important that it be a man and a woman? Well, if we look at actual factual truth, then it takes a man and a woman to have a seed, to produce, to procreate, to keep this planet going. The actual construct of a family depends on the fact that a man and a woman come together to make a child. Now, we can get into the legality and formality of legal marriage. Soon we are. Eventually in this video, I'm going to go down that road. But right now, I want to stick to what God says a marriage is, because I didn't quite understand this at first, but my father broke it down to me in a very interesting way. He said, son, do you think God has an administration office in heaven where he has your marriage certificate or marriage license in there? I said, no. And the reason he asked me this question is because the original form of marriage had nothing to do with these ceremonies that we have today. It's actually just a covenant that two people make with God. It's two people becoming one, uniting and becoming one flesh, one thought, one purpose, one goal, one vision. It's not this new age, modern, revolutionized, evolved thing that we have today where two people come together, yet there's two individuals, like they have individual thinking and individual minds. These two people that come together in God's marriage have one goal, one vision, and one purpose. They become essentially one flesh. And in this truth lies one of the biggest problems that we have with marriage as it stands today. Because most people who get married don't want to give up their right to be an individual, don't want to give up their right to their individual happiness and their individual achievements and success, i.e. most women don't want to fulfill the duties of actually being a wife. They like the pageantry, they like the title, they like the idea and the concept. Most men don't want to give up their duties or their regular life and die to their regular life in order to fulfill the obligations of being a husband. See, in this concept that we have of marriage is happy wife, happy life, or the husband wants to be happy himself. And if you're not making him happy, he'll leave you and get somebody who does. Same way, vice versa.
Yes. Phase in your life, Tia, and you've spoken about this, so
Yes.
we're comfortable asking you about it. But you and your husband, like a lot of couples, decided that it was better to be lived, your life's better lived apart than together.
Yes.
How did you know that it was time?
That's a really good question.
To take that route?
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children. Meaning, our children.
But to be honest, y'all, if y'all want me to break it all the way down, marriage has nothing to do with your happiness. Actually, you should be happy before you get married. You should have joy. You should have peace. You should have all the fruit of the Spirit, as the Bible describes, before you enter into a union. And that's on both sides. You shouldn't be looking at marriage to fulfill you or make you happy. Rather, you should be looking at marriage as just another part of your journey in life. And if you add a partner to yourself, it should be with that same thought in mind. So you have a lot of women out here who say that if I'm not happy, then I shouldn't be in this marriage, when marriage has nothing to do with happiness, but more rather than to do with duty. A lot of women do not want to fulfill the duties of being a wife. Therefore, most women are not wives, and that's okay. But you have to be willing to admit this. Being a wife comes with a duty and a responsibility to that husband. Submitting yourself to a man means that you have given up your right to go out to the club, to do all the things that you have the inalienable rights to do when you're a single woman. In the same way with a husband has to give up certain things in order to become that husband. And don't get me started on this concept of love, because as humans, our concept and mindset about love is totally twisted and perverted. We have this almost fairy tale like dream type love that is based on emotions. And because it's based on emotions, many times our marriages dissipate and go away and are no longer existing the way they should, is because we have this fake idealistic view of love. God's love is a covenant and a promise. It has nothing to do with emotion. It's a forever love. Our love, however, is based on emotions and feelings. And we all know that what? Feelings change. And because feelings change, you can then go pick a wife and she makes you feel a certain way today. And so you're in love. And then 6 months from now, she doesn't make you feel this way. So now essentially you fall out of love. See, God does not fall out of love with us. It's forever. It cannot be tainted. It cannot be disregarded. Our love, however, can be exchanged for the next best thing smoking. Vice versa. Women can fall in and out of love with a man because your love is based on emotion. So once again, if you're not going into marriage for the right reason, then why get married? Hashtag in the comments, by the way, let me know, why do you even still continue to get married in 2022? Now, I've already kind of briefly touched on what the original design for marriage was, the union between a man and a woman. But much like everything else we do as human beings in life, we continue to try to evolve or redefine the constructs of what the original design for marriage was. So now you have men trying to be legally married to another man and women trying to be legally married to other women. And while they're saying that this is their legal right and you can fall in love with anybody, this is not the original plan and design for what marriage was. Now, as a believer of God, do I believe in this silliness? No, I don't. But do I judge, knock, or anybody for wanting to do what they feel? No, because a feeling is just what it is. It's whatever you want it to be. So you have people who believe that if I'm a man, I should be married to a man. If I'm a woman, I can be married to a woman. That's just what we do as human beings. We have free will and we do what we want. But my question is, why get married under the same structural design that was designed for a man and a woman? I used to ask this question all the time. If you're a woman and you are a lesbian, then why do you have the same natural desires that a woman who is heterosexual do? Like, if you're a woman and you're totally gay or you live that lifestyle, why would you even desire penetration? I'm just being honest. Like, why not make that a whole new thing? The same way with a man, vice versa. How come there are more butch men or more masculine men in the relationship of a gay relationship as well, who desire to go into something? This is how you know that it's perverted. You are meant and built to go inside of a woman the same way a woman is meant to let you enter her. But when we enter these other realms of sexuality, preferences and all of that, you still see the same desires, just with the opposing sex. You understand what I'm saying? So when we come to marriage, when it comes to marriage, how come you desire to be a part of something that was not originally designed for you to be a part of? Like, I'm all for you being able to love who you want, but why not get married under your own terms? Why do you have to then press forward to be married under the same confines as a believer in God, when we know that that is how we get married, under God these days? And the answer to that question, my friends, is simply this. It's not just enough to get married. What they want to do is attack the very foundation of the beliefs of people who believe in God. I'm telling you this right now on this channel, whether you want to believe it or not. People who are homosexual or LGBTQ want to be able to get married, and they want to push the agenda that the beliefs of people who have believed this forever and ever, no matter what your beliefs in your morality system and code says, they want to convince you that this is right. Now, while I do say that none of us can judge anybody on this channel, we strictly believe in not judging, but I do believe in being able to express my opinion, especially when it comes down to my faith and beliefs and what I choose to stand on. So with that being said, I believe that this is an agenda to attack the very principles and foundations of God when it comes to the the construct of the family. Because number one, we know that it takes a man and a woman to produce a child. How men comes against that is they've created in vitro fertilization. You can adopt children now. So they say that the family as we have it today with all the technology does not have to be the same as it was from the beginning of time. And that's a lie. So an attack on marriage as it stands is not just an attack on marriage. The idea of marriage is an attack on the idea of God himself. It's an attack on the reproduction and the ability to procreate in the family as we know it now. So again, I say, why get married? Well, a lot of people want to get married for benefits. A lot of benefits come with being married, insurance reasons. People treat married people a little different. They help married people out a lot. And the idea and the title of being one. Now, once again, in the Bible, because everything in this channel goes back to the Bible. When you look at the constructs of what marriage is, it's a contract between a man and a woman, a union between a man and a woman. And the original plan was not having all these ceremonies like we do for everything now. It's not just marriage. We have all these ceremonies and we celebrate things before we've even mastered them or even worthy of having a celebration. So we have these ceremonies and we have the reception and we like to celebrate before we even know if you're going to make it 6 months. But the original design wasn't this. And this is why I said when we say our vows, it's not saying it actually to that person, but you're making a covenant with God and under God, understanding that I'm taking this woman on to be my wife. With that being said, when I gave y'all the story earlier about God having an administration office in heaven saying, hey, here's your marriage certificate. No, that's not the case. God counts it when you say something in your heart. And because we don't really believe in God like that, we have to go get a piece of paper. Man says you need to go get a piece of paper because we all know that men are janky. So one minute I can say, this is my wife. And the next day I can say, this is my wife and this is my wife. So I understand the purpose. So they make you go get this certificate and this paper, which counts nothing to God. And we see that it really doesn't mean nothing to man because in a second we'll rip that thing up and go on with our lives, right? So it really doesn't mean anything. So if you're a believer in God, your commitment to God in your heart is worth way more than a piece of paper in the first place. But a lot of people want to go through this formality. They want to go through this process, and it's really hurting a lot of people, destroying homes, destroying the mindset of children who have to see these broken marriages, which are married under God, but not in God. And that's a huge difference too. And we're going to get into that right now. Some people like to get married under God, but they're not getting married in God. And when I say in God, that means in the confines of what God says a marriage is, meaning that I'm not just going to discard this because I made a promise to God. So I'm not going to get rid of this marriage. I'm not going to just easily walk out of here. I'm going to do my best to keep my vows to God. Now, because most of us don't really believe in God the way we say we do, and we're saying these vows not to God, but to the person standing across from us, we'll break them very easy. And because you lie to human beings all the time and you don't care anything about it. Like I said, the question beckons, hashtag higher heights. Let me know what y'all think. Is it okay to get married in 2022 if you don't even believe in God? Why get married in the first place? Because if you don't believe in God, there's no reason for you to even get married. And I wonder what atheists do anyway. Do they get married anyway? Don't worry about that. Hashtag higher heights. Let me know what y'all think about 2022 and marriage, period. Put it in the comments. I'm going to try my best to get back to y'all. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss when I'm dropping content like this. Y'all be blessed.